Alright, continuing on with the Jackie Chan films. There's just so many of them. Tonight we're having a night in with the original Drunken Master. So, me and Connie watched this about 8 years ago. Bought it on DVD. I think at your recommendation, you'd seen it before, right?
Yeah, I was the one who made you watch it for the first time, right?
Yeah, so when did you first see it? When was your first experience with it? Roughly.
Maybe 15 odd years ago.
Okay.
15, 16 years ago. I'm pretty sure it was when I started doing martial arts when I was like 16 or something.
And how did you see it? Like on DVD or?
Definitely not hot. Yeah, I think it was DVD.
Okay.
Maybe it was even burnt. I don't know.
Just downloaded or something.
Well, yeah, either that or actual DVD. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure like it was one of my dad's like downloaded and ripped
Yeah.
his rips or something or whatever. Yeah.
Was it English dubbed or was it? Can you remember?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was dubbed.
Mm.
But we're watching the Chinese one, right?
Yeah.
Good.
So
Even though we're missing out on some stuff when it's
kind of.
The subtitles go so fast in Chinese movies.
I just disagree sometimes, but I don't. 98% of the time, I have no problems with it. But it's funny. It's funny because a lot of people online, they love the English dubs on these. They really want like the original English dubs, even though they're awful. I guess it's kind of like a nostalgia thing.
I
Yeah,
guess.
they grew up with it kind of thing. But
It's kind of like Disney movies for me, I guess.
when-
I don't like watching dubbed things, but like Lion King,
Yeah.
I had only watched that with Norwegian dub until I watched it in English with you.
Okay.
And there was actually a memory on Facebook about that just recently.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
But animation is different from live,
Yeah.
obviously. But they do pretty well, I gotta say. Like, the Chinese movies, when they dub it into English,
Mm.
it's not as bad as the other languages out in the world,
Okay.
I
Well,
think.
I have very little experience with English dubbed movies that are foreign, so I can't really comment. But this is, from what I remember, it's a really good film. It is quite long for a Jackie Chan film, hour and 50 minutes, and directed by Yen Wu Ping, who I only know of because he did all the choreography on the Matrix movies,
Oh.
and like they on the behind the scenes of the Matrix, like, oh, this is like this kung fu film director master.
What year is this from?
1978.
Ah.
And
See, I said to Kasha we were watching it, it's a 70s or 80s movie, and I told her the title, and she's like, oh yeah, that's a good one. I'm like, what?
because I know that there's Legend of Drunken Master, which is from the 90s, and this is like early Jackie Chan, and I was
Oh, we're not watching Legend.
no, this is the 70s.
Wait, what's the difference again? Is he not in the Legend one?
Yeah,
When is that from then?
94, I think. This is a young Jackie Chan.
Okay. I'm not sure which one I remember then.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I might be excited about the wrong movie.
Oh no. But we did watch this one together.
Did I go, hang on.
I don't know. We could probably find out and watch the
Is
video.
there a very long staircase in this one and he gets beaten down and then in the end he's drinking from these bamboo thingies to get drunk in this like machinery building to fight the boss in the end?
I think that's Legend of Drunken Master. Oh no.
I'm so excited.
Oh no. This might be. We might have to just cancel this.
It's like, oh, we're gonna watch Alien and now we're gonna watch Prometheus. We'll see.
See all that
It
building.
might be good.
Do you know what? I'm gonna have to buy Legend of
So I
Drunken.
didn't watch this then.
I'm gonna have to buy Legend of Drunken Master just so we can watch it, and so you can get that, that satisfaction because we've just now introed your memories and feelings on Legend of Drunken Master.
Scene where his auntie's playing Mahon in this one.
I don't know, but when you say the machinery factory, that is
I'm
from.
pretty sure this is it because his uncle is like really mean or something, and then his auntie or his mom or something, and he's trying to run away from because he's done something bad and he's trying to run from. You know what? I'm intrigued because I want to see if this is the one. Is there a train in the beginning?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I don't know which one we're watching.
We're watching the original, and you're.
I don't know the difference.
Okay. So I feel like this has to be a two-part video now. Where
We gotta watch both.
we're gonna have to buy. I'm gonna buy it on Amazon or something because I feel bad now that you got
We
excited
gotta
about
deal
this.
with our Prime.
Huh?
Prime.
Oh, Amazon Prime, yeah. Okay. So
SAR.
So, all right. So we're gonna watch Drunken Master, the original, which I remember is got some great stuff in it, and we did watch it. I think we watched both. I think we can go back because we did the Epic Film Challenge in 2011, and we watched both. I'm pretty sure.
She even said this. She's like, "Wait, are you watching Drunken Master or Legend of?" And I'm like,
"Oh, really?"
And I'm like, "Hang on, there are two." I was like, "There are two, aren't there?" And I was like, "It's probably the one that I'm excited about." And now I'm like.
See,
I don't know which one I'm excited about.
See, it's almost like I'm like, oh, we're gonna watch that movie with the guy who goes off and then kind of ingratiates himself into a different kind of community, and you're like, oh, great, I can't wait to watch this. When you pop it in and it's Avatar, and you're like, I thought it was Dances with Wolves, and then it's just like
Come on, wait, are we not watching Pocahontas?
And interestingly enough, I went to the shop earlier to get myself dinner, and I bought a pizza. Connie went out and also bought a pizza, so we're having like double pizza dinner. No, that's out of date. I'll leave all this in. So you're having a pizza, I'm having a pizza, you get a pizza, you get a pizza, we're all having pizza, and we're gonna watch Drunken Master, which unfortunately isn't the one Connie thought it was. I feel bad actually, but I remember it being a really good film, so fingers crossed it holds up and isn't a complete waste of the evening. And I think I will have to buy Legend of Drunken Master, and we'll add another one to the Jackie Chan reviews, which are getting quite, numerous at this point, which is fine by me. So, yeah, and I was actually reading the booklet for this. This is the Masters of Cinema release, spine number 166, and the booklet was talking about how Jackie Chan in the early 70s was trying to kind of break out as a lead star in these movies, and there's so many films he appeared in 1978 alone, and there was one where he really broke out, which I believe is Snake in the Eagle's Shadow, and that led directly into this one, Drunken Master. I think that's right, the chronology of that is correct. So this is when he started to actually break out as like a lead star of a kung fu movie that was actually profitable, which of course would then lead right into the 80s and those amazing films that I've already talked about with Police Story, Project A, etc. So anyway, back to the 70s, Drunken Master. Let's check it out and hope it's enjoyable. All right, we have an update. So again, this is the wonders of having a YouTube channel that dates back years and years. This is not going to show you, but on my phone now I have episode 177 of the Epic Film Challenge from the 15th of February 2012.
Oh, we're in Wales.
In Wales. And listen to this if it'll start.
I'm from the 70s, and we bought this because Connie thought it was a different film, which is called Legend of the Drunken Master, which is kind of like a sequel to this that was made in the 90s, I think. Which we have to get. Yeah, which we're going to get and watch.
Which we're going to get and watch. Unbelievable. That's how crazy.
Same thing.
That is really weird. Like, so history has repeated itself. You thought it was one thing, it was the other, and then we decided that I would buy it so we could watch that as well. Like, we literally have...
But now we're getting the Blu-rays and not the DVDs.
About it all, really. And I miss about Jackie Chan. It's kind of this.
So, I don't know if we can just skip
it
to
looks like you're wearing the same...
I kind of felt like I was watching a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Because he always has some training things where he has to,
Okay, we're not going to watch the whole thing, but yeah, and I think...
If I hated it, I would have remembered that I hated it, I think, so I must have liked it to some extent.
Episode 348, we did Legend of Drunken Master, which was in...
Oh my god, my face is as wide as it is long. Meaning it's fat. Holy shit!
And this was in July.
Look how cute your hair is.
Oh, look how cute my hair was. Yeah, so, okay, we're not going to...
No, because I'm going to be like, holy shit, I cannot let it get to that, but I am going to eat my pizza and my chocolate cookies.
and I'm probably a lot fatter than I was back then, so it's...
I was 10 kilos heavier there than I am now, so...
So anyway, so there's the update. Like, we did the same fucking thing. So it's February 2012, so it's like 31st of January, so we're talking 6 years, is it? 6... 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 7 years later, history repeats itself, only now in high definition format with the Blu-ray. So I'm sorry that it wasn't what you thought it was, but hopefully, again, I'm already just repeating the same thing, but you'll enjoy it and we'll we'll get Legend Drunken Master into the collection as well and watch that and talk about that. So, on with the movie. Pizza number 1. Featuring a cameo from Pepsi Max Ginger, which Connie sometimes buys and never finishes.
Yeah, I had a little bit today.
And you also bought some of those.
Fatty cookie, fatty.
And I think these are still from Christmas. So, yeah.
Yeah, still a few left for you.
Yeah, these are mine actually. You've been
Yeah, you're
digging into
leaving
mine.
them on the table though. What do you expect?
Alright, yeah. So,
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
play the setup. What's the best way? Cantonese. The Mandarin soundtrack was originally created for a shorter version of the film. Additional footage is presented in English. So it's like an alternate version of the film. Well, we'll stick with the original Cantonese, I guess, and English. Hong Kong theatrical. See, they go mental with these, which is really good, I guess. So yeah, we'll just stick with the. Hopefully, that's the best way to watch it. Here we go. I love how this guy's arm movements are like just. Like, I've heard like actual body contact sound effects in fight scenes in films that don't sound as forceful as that. Like, just. I guess that's gonna set the tone for this. Pizza number 2. Okay, it's about 10:30 in the night. We're an hour and 15 minutes into Drunken Master, and Connie is barely conscious at the minute. So we're going to have to stop the film. How have you enjoyed it so far?
Yeah, Legend is better, I think.
Legend is better, you think? Okay.
I don't know, it's probably because memories and stuff.
Memories, right, okay. So we'll talk about it more tomorrow. I'm assuming we're going to finish it tomorrow. Tomorrow evening. We both got work tomorrow, so it'll be a case of picking it up where we left off. I'm really enjoying it. I actually think there's almost too much fighting in it.
There is a lot of fighting in it.
I almost feel like
it's not like you don't have to look forward to the next fight because it's happening like 2 minutes later.
Yeah. Like, the first like, half an hour, I was like, wow, this is just like, the action just keeps on coming, you know? And it's like, oh, this is great. And the action, the fight scenes, oh, brilliant. But it is just, it's just not repetitive, but just, it's a constant barrage of action, which is kind of great. But
everyone knows Kung Fu. No wonder that's like a stereotype.
yeah.
Seriously, it's like, oh, so your father is a bad Kung Fu. Like, everybody knows.
Everybody in this movie knows Kung Fu.
Even the women.
Even the women, which that was great. The woman fighting Jackie Chan, that was an awesome scene.
Her legs.
Her legs.
Gravity or whatever.
Yeah, she just like. Yeah, that was a really cool scene. Like, and she fought a different style as well. I find this film really funny. I'm enjoying the humor. It is just a couple of notches over the top at times as well, which is kind of it's kind of the tone for some of these. Though I read that Jackie really pushed to do this kind of a film because they want him to be more of a stern, kind of cool Bruce Lee badass. But he felt like his strength was in doing more comedic stuff, which I think is true. But it is over the top at times. But it also is funny as well. So it's not so over the top that I just don't find it funny at all. It strikes a nice balance for the most part, and I'm really enjoying it. And we'll talk more about it tomorrow. So yeah, I think Connie is ready to join the land of the sleeping, and I'll try and find something to do with the rest of my nights. It's freezing cold as well tonight, so that hasn't really helped things. Connie's been cradling her hot water bottle against her face for like the entire movie. And you said that you don't remember much about this.
No, I haven't. The only thing that I remembered was
The sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember bits and pieces, particularly the shot when Jackie is trying to leave Beggar So's house, and he's tied a bit of string around his toe, and he's pulling him back in with this mischievous grin on his face. That image was burned into my head from when I watched this film. But you know, there's other scenes that I just don't.
Probably because I did that to you once.
No, but
No, I didn't. I'm just confirming for the people.
Glad you confirmed that you've never tied a string around my toe before. So, yeah, all right, we'll reconvene, which for you, the viewer, will be instantaneous, and have just put an order in on Amazon for Legend of Drunken Master, so we can watch that on the weekend and do a video on that one as well. So, that's it for us for tonight. Okay, it is the evening after the night before, and the rain delay is over. We're about to continue Drunken Master. And I'm actually looking forward to this because, as I was saying, there's just so many fight scenes that it's kind of nice to take a break from it. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing the rest of it now. And the first time I watched it, I do remember feeling like it dragged, and this time I didn't. So I've definitely enjoyed it more this time. The Blu-ray looks great, and yeah, it's just one of those things where you can have too much of a good thing, maybe, because I mean, you know, David Gilmour doesn't go on stage and just rip into a solo straight away. A comedian doesn't come out and just tell joke after joke after joke and leave no pause for people to laugh, you know. And as amazing as the martial arts and the choreography and everything, I mean, it's beautiful, actually. Some of the fight scenes, it's like a dance almost. They're great, but yeah, I was getting a little bit tired of them by the time we finished watching an hour and 15 minutes, I think, of the film last night. So looking forward to finishing it off. Legend Drunken Master is coming in the mail tomorrow, hopefully. So we'll get to kind of, again, repeat history from like 7 years ago.
Did I fall asleep then too?
No, I don't think. Or maybe you did. We didn't watch the whole review. So anyway, so on with Drunken Master, the 1978 original version. And I actually watched on my lunch break. There's an interview with Jackie Chan on the Blu-ray from a few years ago, and he was saying something to the effect of he was reading loads of old kung fu books.
Are you fucking kidding me? I'm sorry, but she was putting her claws into my hot water bottle. Sorry. That could have been a disaster.
Okay. You can have that for free.
You don't want to clap?
Where was I? Right, so apparently he was reading loads of old kung fu books, and he read about this drunken style or something like that. And so he actually brought this idea to the producer of the film and basically came up with his own, not style, but like the moves and things that he would do in the film. Obviously not everything, but certain like stances and things. So even then, when he's like just the star of the movie, he was exerting his kind of creative side, you know, and which would then lead him on to actually making his own films, becoming a director and stuff. So, you know, again, he isn't just someone who shows up and does amazing martial arts. He's actually actively involved himself in coming up with ideas and, you know, putting things together and inventing kind of, you know, little bits and pieces along the way. And as we've seen, you know, throughout the years, the way he implements just normal everyday things into his fight scenes is great. And you see little bits of that in this film, I think. And yeah, so I'm just talking about the film now. I should stop and we'll get to watching the film and come back at the end. One thing about these films is that you always get, like, at the start of almost every new scene, like dramatic zooms. It's like crash zooms, which is just, I guess, the staple of these kinds of films. Okay, so this like awesome fight sequence is going on, and then all of a sudden Jackie Chan with like the most carefree, happy walk you've ever seen.
It's like worse than Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, that goes wrong. Everyone walks like that.
Already finished with Drunken Master.
Not the legend of.
Not the legend of. That last fight seemed to go on forever.
I would not have made it through that last night.
No. So.
I would have gone like, oh, that's cool sometimes, just to pretend that I'm awake. And you'd be like, you sleeping? And I'm like, no.
Watching that final fight reminded me of how everyone loves the lightsaber fights in the prequels. And I think they're really cool too. Specifically the Obi-Wan Anakin duel. But for me it's just so much. It's so much. And I get so much more drawn into something like Luke and Vader in Empire, where it's more about the moments between the strikes and the build up and the I don't know. But incredible choreography.
But that's
Just
the thing, like there's so much variation to the choreography. He never does the same thing twice.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's so amazing because you don't really get bored with it because he does something crazy and then it's like a lot of more or less normal stuff and then he does something crazy again. And that's what makes it interesting throughout the whole fight.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I
Very creative.
I get so overwhelmed at times in this film with just how full on the fight scenes are and how long they go. But undeniably incredible choreography, and like I said, it really is like a dance at times, and not to the point where it doesn't feel like a real fight either. There's bits and pieces there where you can see it's a little bit too stagey, but again, maybe like 2 or 3 times in the whole film. The rest actually does seem like more of a. Although again, like you say, it's like everyone in the film knows kung fu. It's like everyone's a master at kung
Everyone
fu.
in that town knows kung fu.
Yeah, everyone in that town knows kung
Even
fu.
the women.
Even the women, yeah. Well, that was I love that the woman. Like I said, I thought she was great, and had a different fighting style to the men. I like the guy with was it Iron Head or whatever he called himself. The guy who just uses it. He's got like a really strong skull, so that made it more interesting how he's fighting with his head and stuff. And the story, which we didn't really talk about, follows Jackie Chan again. I feel bad because in all these reviews I just call him Jackie Chan. It's like the names I'm not gonna be able to pronounce them correctly. Can you tell me what his name is in the film?
No.
No. Okay. So we'll just call.
Wow, I don't know.
Yeah.
Did they ever say his name?
They do. Wong Fei or something like that. I just can't remember the full.
Probably find out if you look on
The Blu-ray's right there. Okay,
I
let's.
can't reach it. I'll look it up. I'll look at it and then you can continue. Yuan Wo Ping. No,
That's the director.
director.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Wong Fei Hung.
Wong Fei Hung. Okay. Well, again, I'm just gonna say Jackie Chan. It just is what it is. So his father runs like a martial arts training center thing, and he's a part of that, and he's kind of a fairly what's the word? A fairly what is the term? It's just completely eluding me. Jackie Chan is a fairly rowdy young man. I'm trying to think if there's a term, and it's really
Rowdy.
perfect. No, but he's a bit of a scamp. We'll say that but we do see that there's a point early on in the film where some like random guy on the street gets kind of his money stolen. He's trying to sell stuff, and the guy takes it off him and his money or something like that. Jackie Chan steps in to kind of fight this guy to show that he does care about people and he isn't just this complete idiot who is kind of leering over women, because he gets into the fight with the woman who turns out to be his auntie, which is a funny sequence when he realizes that the girl he was hitting on is his cousin. and so his father is like just absolutely.
It makes me wonder, like, how the hell do you not know your family?
Well, I guess you can have family who you've just never seen and they're visiting. I don't know. I mean, it's perfectly seems reasonable to me. I don't know what era this is set in. Obviously, a couple of 100 years ago. It's kind of a period film in that sense.
Yeah, so you would never send like pictures on.
Yeah, there's no Instagram. There's no Instagram in Drunken Master. So his father is really incensed that his son has kind of fought his sister. Like he had a fight with his auntie and tried to get it on with his cousin. So he first he's going to beat him to death, and then his auntie's like, no, he just needs to be punished properly, and so they send him off to train with his uncle Beggar So, who again I believe is played by the father of the director Yen Wu Ping, and he is a really memorable character. What do you think? What do you think of Beggar So?
Without him, there wouldn't be a movie.
Yeah. But he's really.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, he whatever he does actually do out of the kung fu stuff, it's really impressive.
Which seems to be at least 70%, like, I would say.
50 maybe.
No,
there's a lot of rolling on the ground and stuff.
Yeah, and he does it. Like there's literally scenes where they make a point of having a close up on him, and then it zooms out, and then he's doing cartwheels and backflips and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know how old he was when he made this, but he passed away a couple of months after the film was released. And that just intrigues me from a point of view of someone who, is literally like in their last year of living and is doing all this stuff in a movie. I don't know. It's kind of just crazy to think about. But clearly, I would imagine, considering Yuen Wo Ping probably a bad pronunciation there, but concerning he is a martial arts director, went on to do, I don't know if he did it before and after and during, but choreography with martial arts. I can only assume that his father was involved in that too, which you can see he's a very good kind of at least stage martial artist with that kind of stuff. But he does make the film, and he is the character that trains Jackie Chan, and I love their kind of relationship and the whole idea of the drunken style and how he needs like wine, he needs to be drunk or at least have a little bit of alcohol to be good. There's a scene
how he gets drunk after just like
instantly drunk.
Instantly, it doesn't take like the minutes or 10 minutes. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know how long it takes you to get drunk after you've had so much, but
Yeah.
it doesn't take that many minutes.
But I don't know why I was waiting for you to finish yawning then. But it was loud. What was I going to say? Yeah, so there's a scene where he hasn't had anything to drink, and he's getting shaky and stuff. And these people turn up. They're like, oh, he's clearly not the legendary beggar. So look, his hands are shaking. He's intimidated, and so he tries to fight them, but he can't beat them because he isn't drunk. It's like his kind of sobriety is his kryptonite. You know, it's like he can't perform to the best of his abilities unless he's drunk. And it's fun to see the training and so on, but there's a fight scene around every corner. So I don't know, I feel like for me the best way to watch this film was in 2 parts.
Actually, yeah, because I felt like I felt more refreshed when I...
Refreshed, yeah.
Yes.
Because it's almost 2 hours long, and it's pretty much wall-to-wall action. And there are
blends into each other.
Yeah, there are moments where it calms down. There are moments that, like the scene in the restaurant when he's trying to get the food for free, which is kind of really funny and memorable. And you're either going to get really hungry from that scene if you're feeling hungry, or you're just going to feel disgusted if you're full.
Well, you lose your appetite when he gets his ass kicked anyway.
Oh God, yeah! When they start punching and they're like, "We're going to get that food back," and they're hitting him in the stomach, and the food's coming back out again, which is disgusting. But just like when that first scene when you first meet Beggar So is really memorable as well, when he kind of turns up and starts fighting the guys and clearing house, and he does do a lot of that stuff himself, which is really cool. I mean, you can tell when they're kind of not showing his face that it's not him. But even then, the person who isn't him doing it doesn't seem to be doing things that are too much more ridiculous. So it's just really impressive. And then of course Jackie Chan does everything himself, and it's just
insane as usual.
Yeah, I would say this is, for me, from what I've seen, which isn't a lot, this is probably like the best representation of him as a martial artist, in the sense that like the shape he's in is ridiculous, especially like the shirtless scenes.
Pretty ripped.
It actually reminds me of the scene in Way of the Dragon when Bruce Lee is kind of flexing, you just see the ridiculous.
Bruce Lee when he was doing the
and just the amount of like just the pure kind of ratio of how much fighting he does in the film, because in some of the other films it's a different style of stuff. This is like pure kind of like, well, not pure kung fu, but like, all these weird different styles melded into one. And there's a fight scene with a bench that he uses, which kind of reminded me of his more like, later stuff, where he would use like something that's very ordinary and make it a part of the fight sequence in a really interesting and unique way. So yeah, overall, I love the film. It's just great. It really, and it has a good story as well, which sometimes these films have great fight scenes, but the story isn't as good. I kind of wish there was more of the story and a little less of the fighting scenes, just to give you that breather.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more of
Make you want to see more fighting.
Exactly, yeah. Like maybe...
It shouldn't be like you wanting to see more story.
Yeah.
You should want to. But I really, really, really want to watch Karate Kid now.
Yeah, again, on my break I was watching the interview with Jackie Chan, and he was asked about doing the recent Karate Kid, so that kind of reminded us he even did that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to watch that again. So we might watch that and cover that, even though it's not an Asian film. I mean...
It's got to check it. Well, it's set in Asia.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was an American... It must be an American film, but regardless, I'm going to count it because it's Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
And there'll be an interesting story about that when we get to that one, actually. So, something else I was going to say... What was it? You threw me off my train of thought when you said Karate Kid. Drunken Man. Yeah, so the story. Like, I would have liked, perhaps, a little more of Shelby in the movie. To do the drunken style. Oh, Poor little thing. All right, look, just
She doesn't really fight it much.
No, she doesn't.
She's just like...
any attention is fine by Shelby. Yeah, so I would have maybe liked to have seen a little bit more bonding between Jackie and Begaso, just in lieu of all the fight sequences, to make their relationship even more kind of, key to the film. But I think it has that anyway.
Yeah, you see some of it.
You see some of it for sure.
How disappointed he is when he's not there, and he seems pretty happy when he's walking back to him.
Yeah.
In that one scene.
And I love the main bad guy who just has like the hairstyle and mustache of the 1970s in a period that was set hundreds of years before that. And I'm fairly certain I saw a bloody football court in the background of one of the fight sequences.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why did you turn the camera that way? And then Connie was like, did they have football back then? And I'm like, I don't think they did. I mean, it's possible. All it is a ball, but I just... certainly doesn't seem to fit the aesthetic of the time period that they set the film in.
We could look it up.
Yeah, there's one point you said you really like the camera work in one of the fight scenes. It was like just like the way that it followed the action.
Yeah, sometimes
It's
really good.
It's a really well shot film for the most part. Like I really love. Like there's a bit in the final fight where we actually get into Jackie's perspective, where like his vision's blurred a little bit, and then the bad guy's like coming close. So really and the bit where the bad guy's like. He's got both of his hands and he's going like this and crossing them over each other, and you just see the reflection in Jackie's eye of like he's kind of like anticipating the next move. Really cool stuff every now and again.
Just in general, how they managed to capture everything as well. Like there are many times where it's zoomed in on one of the people and then it zooms out just as they're about to kick someone or something.
Yeah.
The timing is really well done.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of crash zooms in this film. It seems to be a staple of the kung fu genre, especially back then. But and he was saying on the Blu-ray again that as far as he's concerned, this was like the first kung fu action comedy. And again, I think some of the comedy is a little bit overplayed for me, a little bit over the top. But for the most part, it did actually make me laugh quite a bit. And certainly a lot funnier than, say, City Hunter.
Where the comedy was way over.
It was just way over the top, like just awful. And so yeah, I really loved revisiting this, and I kind of think that next time we watch it, we should split it up over 2 nights again, just to kind of, I think you do need that a bit of a breather. But that's when my complaint is that there's too much great stuff. It's not really a complaint, really, is it? It's but I think maybe pacing wise, it goes a little bit too far. But can you blame them when they've got someone like Jackie Chan doing some of the most amazing fight scenes? Like, I'd be like, yeah, more of that, So maybe it just needed to be a little bit tighter. But apart from that, no complaints. And I think it's one of his best for sure. Again, from the little I've seen. At this point, I've seen quite a few, but there's just so many films he's made. Yeah. And apparently a lot of bad ones as well. So, which is kind of the curse of making so many films. You're not going to make a winner with everyone. So. Anything else you'd like to add about Drunken Master? No? So look forward to watching Legend of Drunken Master.
Yeah, but I'm looking more forward to Karate Kid right
now.
Oh,
right, Karate Kid, okay.
I want to watch that in between, and then we could do Legend later.
Okay, so...
just to get, like, something else.
Sure, yeah, to break it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, so...
There's a lot of story in that one.
There is a lot of story in that one, so we'll do that one next then, and then Legend of Drunken Master. And one final moment from that interview on the Blu-ray. They asked him if there's any truth to the rumor they're going to do Drunken Master 3. And his response was, yes, I'd like to do Drunken Master 3, but we have no ideas. He's just like, if you have any, just tell me. Yeah, he said that. He said at this point I'd have to be the old master, but we've tried to come up with, a script idea and we just got nothing. So they just have no idea.
Even from one of the most creative people on earth.
I wouldn't say that. I'm not sure if he does come up with story a lot, or whether it's... I'm not sure actually about that, because I know he directed a lot of films from the 80s, but I'm not sure if he actually came up with the stories himself. I'm not sure. Maybe he's just being coy about it, and they just weren't going to do it. But there you go. So that's Drunken Master, and that's about it. So good stuff. Thanks for watching, and see you in the...
I gave her a look to make...
Oh, you gave her a look. Yeah. Okay. One thing I loved was Jackie Chan's father in the film. Just every now and then, just like these kind of like guttural kind of, which you see a lot in these films anyway. So that is definitely it. I wish you could have seen that, and now you're going to always wonder what I'm talking about.
I can do it again.
And you'll never
You
know.
ready?
No. Well, to keep the suspense, you know. Well, there's no suspense because they won't find out. Okay, go on then, try and do it again.
Good girl.
Not sure if I got that, but regardless, this is definitely the end. It's been a shambles of a video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you. 'Cause